Hey guys, welcome back to Cyberspace Investigations. It's the end of the year, and you know what that means. The Game Awards are happening. Now, normally, in a year that is as apocalyptic as 2020, things kind of go away. You know, South by Southwest, PAX, E3, all of them go away. But for some reason, Jeff Keighley's gotta keep his meaningless relevancy up for another year. So, we come to the Game Awards, and it's basically mini E3. More so than normally because E3 didn't happen, so there were even more meaningless announcements to come out. And when I mean meaningless, I mean meaningless. This was a huge disappointment. I mean, well, the Game Awards is always a huge disappointment. I mean, it's the Game Awards. There's a reason, like, it's supposed... People only watch this show for the announcements, like, because there are awards given out in the pre-show that you would think are major awards, like Best Action Adventure Game. And guess what? The Last of Us 2 won all of them. What is this? Seriously, okay. So, yeah. The Game Awards, let's talk about them. Let's start this off in chronological order with the pre-show. I watched this from the moment it began. And... well, the pre-show was alright. We got a lot of Whooper watch because Pokemon Go is still a thing somewhere in the world. And a few game announcements, mostly just Devolver Digital either crapping on themselves or acting like they're the biggest and best third-party studio in the world. I couldn't tell which because it kind of went between the two extremes there, but it was quite annoying. Now, we did get a few announcements in the beginning, but they were kind of, like, short and not really that important. But overall, the pre-show was alright. We got some interesting stuff, but it didn't compare to what was shown off right at the beginning with Sephiroth in Smash. That is an insane announcement because there have never been two Smash characters from the same third-party series in Smash before, and now there is. And so, what we got is a really cool moveset. The second Fighter's Pass is looking very, very cool so far, with Steve and Min Min and Sephiroth, and wow, just wow. Nintendo's kind of outdone themselves with just the absurdity of these picks to be put into Smash. Now, if only they could make an actually good fighting game instead of a decent party game, then we'd be all set. But overall, yeah, it was a great announcement. As the main Nintendo announcement, that was great. I think it really probably ignited a lot more excitement in Smash for the time being, just like Steve did, just like all of the DLC characters do for their respective series. Now, past that, we have some award announcements, and I don't think this should be called the Game Awards. It should really be called the Last of Us 2 Awards, because dear God, this whole thing, every freaking award, almost all of them, were given to The Last of Us 2. And let me just say, I don't think that deserved it. Like, The Last of Us 2 seems like a fine game, I'll play it at some point, but Ghost of Tsushima definitely deserved Game of the Year specifically, but also a lot of the other awards that were given. Now, I do want to also point out that it was like the same 5 games. It was like Animal Crossing, A Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2, and Hades, and Doom Eternal were like the main categories. Now, they always try to put like 1 or 2 indies in the mix just so it seems kind of fair, but it just kind of made me think, like, is Hades really this all-encompassing, fantastic, phenomenal, flawless experience like they were kind of making it out to be? Like, it was in the same categories as Ghost of Tsushima in almost everything. So, like, really? And that's kind of the problem with the Game Awards when you get into either bias or just somebody else picking when it's not a vote, and you have to put people in the running instead of just saying what it is for whatever it is, maybe suspense or just the show itself. It makes it a problem because then you're like, how is The Last of Us 2 winning all of these things? How's it got the best characters, best story, best music, best visuals? And yeah, it has it does great in all of that from what I've seen, but it is not on the same level gameplay-wise or theming-wise as Ghost of Tsushima or even Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I still think probably should have won Game of the Year. At least that's my pick. Because yes, Ghost of Tsushima was great, but Final Fantasy VII Remake was just a highlight of the year for me. It was the best thing I've played all year from a third party, and just, yeah. But then we got into actual announcements, and most of them were kinda garbage. But the one from Microsoft was actually interesting. They announced their their fabled quadruple A studio whatever was working on a Perfect Dark reboot. Now, Perfect Dark, if you don't know, was an N64 Rare game before they were bought by Microsoft. So how is this quadruple A exactly? I know that was all marketing jargon said by Phil Spencer, but like, guys, come on. You couldn't even make something new that probably showed off better the entire situation of just, this is going to be a new quality level of games. But instead they go with a remake, or a reimagining, I would assume more of an N64 game from God knows how long ago. And I just don't know. I mean, it could be good. It doesn't look half bad, but again, it's a CG trailer. This game's probably years away. That's the problem with all of Microsoft's games, is they don't have anything recent. They just make promises and keep making promises forever, and nothing ever gets actually made, which is kind of a problem. But yeah, so if you're a Microsoft fan, that was probably the highlight. It looked kind of cool, but again, no gameplay, no CG. But we do have a sequel / just new game in the Left 4 Dead series called Back 4 Blood. It looks fine. I guess it's like Left 4 Dead, but better? Probably. I don't know. I never played Left 4 Dead. I don't know. But yeah, for Left 4 Dead fans, that's probably a great thing for them. So yeah, good on you. And then there was some near replicant version, whatever the heck numbers they picked because they're Japanese people and they make confusing names. It looks alright. I wouldn't mind giving it a try. I don't know. I haven't really seen any of the other Nier games, but it didn't look half bad. That was a lot of the stuff that was seen tonight. It didn't look half bad. But one of the games that was shown off there that was great, because I have played so much of the first one, was Ark 2, with Vin Diesel's head on the body of a character. What the heck was this? Okay, so Wildcard is not exactly known for quality. They're really known for completely ruining the point of their game, because, you know, Ark is a dinosaur game, but then they decided to make it about futuristic tech and post-apocalyptic alien meteors sort of thing, and it just became terrible, and barely anybody liked it. But now they got Ark 2, so basically, I think this is going to be, here's my theory, this is going to be more story-driven, because the last two DLCs, Genesis Part 1 and Genesis Part 2, are both story-driven sort of experiences. There's voice acting, like proper voice acting, there's a villain, stuff like that, stuff that doesn't necessarily really jive with the Ark vibe, but I guess it's fine. Then there's, Ark 2. So at the end of Extinction, like the last normal DLC, all of the Arks came down, like all of the space station maps came down and like landed and made the planet look normal again, instead of being corrupted desert area number 355. And then I guess there was some stuff that happened. Like, I literally don't know. It's so confusing. But it looks like Civilization survived, and also the dinosaurs survived from the Arks. And they actually look better than they ever have in that trailer. But again, this is probably a few years off. And there has also been an announcement that this is a timed Xbox exclusive. This is probably because Wildcard just... this is probably it's just because Wildcard hates actually putting in any effort, and so they end up just doing some great stuff. Like, they have some good concepts, the dinosaurs look great, but, I'm just saying, they probably spent half the budget of the game getting Vin Diesel's face on it. Like, guys, come on, you could've just made a better arc, but instead they go and try to do some kind of thing. But again, you could also say that it makes zero sense, and this is all actually a ploy and doesn't work, and it'll never be a thing in the actual game, because Wildcard is known to do that. But this is the ARC team, so it could also be completely ridiculous, stupid, and nobody will like it. But we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, Xbox timed exclusive, which means I won't be able to play it or cover it for quite a while. That sucks, but I would rather get a finished game rather than a crappy unfinished one like ARC was at its launch. So, I mean, there are some positives and negatives there. But moving on, ARC the animated series. I don't think ARC is actually that popular. I mean, maybe it is, but like, wow, how did they get the money or the resources or still get Vin Diesel to actually be in this? You have some big names in this series. Like, I don't think ARC is actually that big. I think they're trying to make it bigger than it actually is, and I feel like it'll backfire. But the trailer for the animated series actually didn't look half bad. I would say it probably will be all okay, but again, you have to kind of be an ARC fan, and even then, the animated series looks nothing like the game. Like, the one scene they showed in the trailer, the animations would be stilted, everything just ugh. But yeah, it was alright. And then we got Tom Holland to come out on stage and talk about bragging about how he was on the set of Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and Alfred Molina and everybody coming together for live-action Spider-Verse, and how he was excited to play Nathan Drake in the Uncharted movie, and we all thought there was gonna be a trailer, or at least I did, and I got some people's hopes up, and then I disappointed them because there was no trailer. But we did get Troy Baker to come out and say he was only going to be slightly angry that Tom Holland was going to be ahead of him on IMDb for being Nathan Drake, which was the best part of the show, by the way. Yeah, there was some problems with that whole thing. That was one of the first celebrity guest appearances of the show, which would continue, but we got some more game announcements, and there was some standout, most of them were indies, but there were some pretty standout titles. They announced Super Meat Boy Forever was going to be a thing, I guess? I feel like I've heard of that before. I thought it was Meat Boy 2, but maybe not. I don't know, I used to play a lot of that game. I may check out the sequel when it goes for cheap, but currently, I think it'll probably be alright. So then we get to Keanu Reeves comes out to give the award for like best innovation in gaming, and I feel like the award was probably supposed to go to Cyberpunk, but then it got delayed again, and it got delayed too late, so they couldn't put it in the running. But he was still there. He talked about Cyberpunk. He bragged about being Johnny Silverhand, which, okay. Still think the game looks like a buggy mess. The only way I'll play it is if it comes to next gen in a proper version and gets an upgrade and fixes all of the problems and gets more content, which it will. It'll definitely get that. But in the meantime, I don't think I'll do anything there. But the announcement was alright. Keanu Reeves was just being Keanu Reeves, and so it was fine. It was unneeded, but there wasn't anything wrong with it. So then we kind of get close to the end of the show, and I believe it was Christopher Nolan coming to deliver Game of the Year. What the heck? Like, is Christopher Nolan actually a gamer? Or are we just getting random movie celebrities just because. I mean, it's better than getting Instagram celebrities, I'll give it that, but guys, come on, you can do better. I mean, okay, Christopher Nolan is a great director, he's made some great movies, but why Game of the Year? Why couldn't you just have it be like Jeff Keighley or better yet, get somebody from the actual game? But wouldn't that give it away? That would give it away, so never mind. But yeah, Game of the Year was The Last of Us Part 2, as I said before, and I am not entirely pleased about that, just gonna be honest right there. I would have really preferred that it was anything but The Last of Us Part 2, but again, apparently everybody loved that game, when it was really only like 50% of people, but whatever, whatever. Even though Ghost of Tsushima literally won the actual voting for Game of the Year, they still gave it to The Last of Us Part 2. I don't know what committee they have that do it. Is it Jeff Keighley? Does Jeff Keighley just play every Game of the Year? And he's like sitting on this massive throne and he's just like, alright, I pick that game to be in the running and that game is gonna win, but we're just gonna put all these other games in the running and ooh, Hades, sure, let's put that in there. Now, that's my Jeff Keighley impression. So, yeah, the Game Awards were pretty good. I would say they could have been better. So the Game Awards, or as I would call it, The Last of Us 2 Awards, they were alright, but, you know, they could have been so much better. There were definitely some good announcements in there, but nothing groundbreaking, nothing truly earth-shattering. They focused a lot more on celebrity appearances, like having Christopher Nolan and Keanu Reeves and Tom Holland there. It's like, okay, that's a little overboard. This isn't the Microsoft E3 press conference, Keighley. Hold your horses a bit. But, yeah, this Game Awards, I'd say it was better than average. Mainly due to the fact there was no E3. But yeah, so what do you guys think of the Game Awards? Tell me down below in the comments, and I'll see you next week for another great program.